Hello, welcome to the ETABS course. Okay, in this part, we are going to be working on a project, okay, and it's a 12-story hotel building, okay, it's an office building, okay. So we are going to try to model it, okay, analyze and design it, okay. So I'll go to my Revit file, okay. This is the model, the structural model, okay, for the hotel. It's a 12-story structure, all right. So it has level 1 up to level 12. All right. Now the levels are typical. All right. So this is the layout, the floor layout. Okay, it's going to be a flat slab system. Okay. So we have spacings between columns being 6 meters. Okay, and the overall spacing is 30 meters here. In this direction, we have also 6 meters. Overall spacing is 18 meters. Okay. So we have overhangs, okay, 500, 500. All right. So our column sizes, okay, are 500 by 500 squared columns, okay. And you can see our grid layout is squared. It's a regular structure, all right, which makes it easy to work in ETABS, okay. So if we come here, it has a column drop head around the columns, okay. So they are 25 by 25, okay. It also has shear wall, core wall, okay. So the core wall, okay, is 27 by 27 into in, all right. And the thickness is 300 by 300, all right. So it also has openings at both sides, okay. The core wall is symmetrical with openings at both sides, okay. The opening is 1 meter wide, 1 meter wide, okay. All the openings are 1 meter wide, all right. So if I go to the, let's say, east view, okay, you see that the openings, okay, the height is 2.1 meters, okay. Now our floor to floor height, okay, is 3,300, all right. So, and we have, this is the 12th floor, okay, and this is the first floor with our foundation, all right. Now, to start, before we start our modeling, okay, if I go to the 12th floor, you can see that it's similar. So we have typical stories from the first to the 12th floor, okay. So if you come here, this is the analytical model, all right. So Revit is a very powerful BIM software, all right. Now this analytical model had been done properly in Revit, so we can just export this model straight to ETABS for analysis, okay. So if you want to do that, it's very easy. I can just come here to this add-ins, okay. I've already installed the ETABS plugin, okay. It's present here. All I need to do is to export it, all right, and import it into ETABS and carry out the analysis and design, okay. But in this case, we're going to model this in ETABS. Why? Because in ETABS there is an easy way to generate this whole model from scratch, okay, without having to sweat too much, okay. So with that in mind now, I'll go back to the layout, all right, and I'll return to ETABS. So I'm going to create a new model, okay. So I'm going to be using built-in settings. So my display units will be metric. My region will be Europe. Okay, my everything will be Europe. Okay. My state design will be to Europe code 3. And my concrete design will be to Europe code 2. Alright. So I'm going to be designing to Europe code. Okay. I'll click on OK. Now what we are going to be using is this flat slab. Okay. So since it's a regular structure, okay, we're going to be using this template, okay, in ETABS, okay. You can see it is showing here, add structural objects, okay. So before we start, we have to define our grid system, okay. I'll come here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grids at 6 meter spacing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 grids at 6 meters spacings. So I'll come here, I'll type 6. Here is 4. Alright, both direction is 6 meter spacing. Alright, so my grid labels, okay, in the x direction will be A, B, C. Okay, let's go back to the Revit file. These x spacings, okay, that's A, B, C. Y, the y spacings is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'll return to my ETABS model. This is correct. X spacing is A, Y is 1. Click on OK. Now for my stories, all my stories are 3.3 meters. Okay, 3.3 meters. So the number of stories is 12. Each of the stories 3.3 meters. 3.3 meters. Okay, so with this now I've defined my grid data, and I've also defined my story data. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to define the flat slab data. Okay, so I'll click on the flat slab. So the edge distance, if you come here, is 500 all through. So I'll come back to ETABS, 0.5 meters, 0.5 meters, 0.5 meters, and 0.5 meters. Now my slab is 250 thick. Alright, and my column size, if I come back here, my column size is 500 by 500. So I'll come back to ETABS and I'll type my column size to be 500 squared. Okay, so now if I come to the drop panel dimensions, okay, my drop panel dimension is 2500. Okay, so I'll come back to ETABS. I'll write 2.5 meters, while my drop panel thickness is going to be 250. So that will give me a total thickness at the column edge to be 500, 250 plus 250, which is enough to undo punching shear. Okay, so we're going to be confirming that in the design. Okay, now for the loads, okay, my additional dead loads, okay, I'm going to be using 1 kilonewton, okay, for finishes, and I'm going to be using 1 kilonewton for partition allowance. And for services, okay, I'm going to be using 0.5. All right, so that will give me a total additional dead load of 2.5. That is in addition to the safe weight of the structure. Okay, so my life loads, okay, according to Euro code, okay, office building belongs to category B. And life loads for category B is between 2 to 3 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, so if the is a general of an office for general use, okay, you can use 2 kilonewton. Okay, if where there is heavy filing cabinets, you can use 3 kilonewton. Okay, but this is a moderately loaded office building, so I'm going to be using 2.5, medium between 2 and 3. Now the restraint at the bottom of my columns is going to be fixed. Okay, and my floor diaphragms are going to be rigid. All right, and I'll click on OK. Why I'm using rigid is so that I'm fixed, is that so that there will be even distribution of loads between the columns and the shear walls. Okay, so I'll click on OK. So the beauty of using these art structural objects in ETABS, okay, it automates a lot of things, okay, that we need to do manually. Okay, so once I click on OK now, my stories will be generated, my grid lines, and my slabs. All right, so you can see the beauty of using ETABS, okay, structural object generator. Okay, you can see that all these things I need to do it myself, but has been done automatically for me. Even those things I'm seeing and those things I'm not seeing. Okay, so behind the scenes, a lot of things have been done for me. Okay, like my strips have been added for my slab design. Okay, all my slab, rigid diaphragms, and other details have been added automatically for me, the properties of my object and the rest. Okay,